Hello, I'm Dr. Kale, aka Dr. Skull, the skeleton inside you, and with me here is...
That's very spooky. Hello everybody, this is Simply Simon.
Yeah, exactly, because today was supposed to be our spooky Halloween episode, but I got sick and had to delay it for a few days. So now because we're late, it is our ironic Halloween episode. And in this episode, we'll be going to the scariest thing you can find in a 3D adventure game. A water-themed dungeon. There's also mummies.
Which is admittedly incredibly scary.
Yeah, very spooky.
But I do like it.
That'll be the main focus, but we'll have a couple of things to do before that.
Oh my god. Falling down is also something a lot of people get spooked from.
Yeah, that's true. I had to fall down because I needed to get to Iconic Canyon, which I don't actually have, unlocked. And since I'm already done with Stone Tower and it came from there, well, the easiest way to get here is to fall down. So.
And you cannot go to the owl statue here?
Oh, I can now. The owl statue, the fake way to get there, I need Iconic Canyon on my map anyways. It's the one spot that's or one of the spots that's 1-to-1 that I need to get to.
Okay.
What I did there, I just used the bomb to explode me through the walls of the Gibdo house here, so I didn't need to play the Song of Storms or anything to get in.
That saves a lot of time and tedium.
It does.
I always dislike that part because I know what to do, so after the first time it's just going through the motions.
Yeah. This guy's pretty spooky already, mummies. But we're not going to watch the cutscene where we fix them all up. Or, well, we will, but it'll be in the corner. Because there's another way into this house. That's the way I sort of mentioned before.
I'm intrigued.
So, I'm going to use this mummy here. I mentioned that if you hookshot certain enemies against walls, well, it'll let you get right through. And if you draw this mummy close enough to the wall and then hookshot him, well, it clips you right through the wall and you can just walk to the loading zone of the door. A couple of ways in.
But it is very scary that you have to let yourself get grabbed before.
Yeah, I don't think you have to, but yeah, that's the best way to get him close enough to the wall. Yeah, a couple of ways in. The first way I did, the way I got in, is way easier. You just need a bomb. But the way with the hookshot works in the 3D version, which the bomb way doesn't, so...
Yeah, I was actually going to ask at some point, how many of these tricks do work in the 3DS version? I think you said a few things about it in the thread already.
It's because, yeah, they did a lot of changes. They fixed a lot of bomb stuff, so that stuff doesn't work. Oh, by the way, in case anyone wanted to know, if you shoot a Gibdo with fire, they burn and it turns out they're re-deads underneath.
Yeah, I knew that. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's something that's done in a lot of Zeldas. I mean, the Gibdos in Link to the Past, they also have the skeletons underneath them.
Yeah. I don't know how common it is, how common knowledge that is or not, but it's a funny thing. It's not true in Ocarina of Time, I'm pretty sure. But in this one it is.
Is it not? Well, okay.
I don't think so.
I don't know how it was in the very first Zelda. If burning the Gibdos did anything there. Turn them into skeletons or not. Didn't play that a lot.
I'm not sure either. I don't know too much about the first two Zeldas.
It's definitely there in the Link to the Past.
Yeah, they turn into Stalfos then, right? Or is that...
Yeah. Or, I mean, the normal jumping skeletons.
Right. So, I just did a gainer to get into Iconic Castle, which, in a way, you're not supposed to. I mean, I do already have light arrows, but you're not really supposed to enter the way I just did. And now I'm entering from the well from the other direction.
Because you have to get the mirror shield?
I don't have to, but I'm going to, just because it's fun. And because I already have light arrows, well, I don't have to worry about this blocking, just get rid of it.
Because I remember that in Ocarina of Time you needed the mirror shield, right?
Yeah, but in this case, light arrows will work for all mirror shield spots except for one thing. And that would be fighting the Ikana guys. The Ikana skeletons. Yeah. But we don't need to do any of that. This is just to show that, yeah, I in fact entered the wealth backwards, so I don't need to do any of it. However, in order to get the mirror shield, I need a flame of some sort. I need to light 4 torches in that room. And I don't have fire arrows. So I have to do something a bit more complicated, and this is why I went back into this room. I don't get it the first try, but essentially what I'm trying to do is I'm doing that fire arrow trick with the DQ stick, where I shot just an arrow that's on fire, using a trick called Action Swap. And I'm trying to backflip and shoot it and light the torch behind me. But it's a little tricky.
And then you can use a deco stick to light the other 4 torches.
Exactly. So basically I'm using the Gibdo mask to talk to this a Gibdo, and that interrupts me pulling out a DQ stick, and that's how I sort of trigger this glitch. I mentioned that I need to interrupt me pulling out a DQ stick with like a text box or something, and that's what I'm doing here. And I have to. It was really annoying because this hand was dogging me here, and I also accidentally took off the Gibdo mask.
Everything's working against you.
I stumbled through this. But this is what I needed the milk for. And in order to get back to the room I was just in, I needed to pass this Gibdo, so I needed to have milk.
Well, that's a complicated setup if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, it's silly. Again, all this is unnecessary. I don't need the mirror shield really for anything. But I wanted to show off a funny way to get it. If I had fire arrows, I would just shoot these torches. It'd be a lot easier. But, I don't.
Ah, that's for chumps. But yeah, no matter which incarnation, the well is always kind of a pain and tedious.
Yeah.
I like the idea, but it's... You always get down there and then you realize you forgot one item.
Yeah, it's very
out
frustrating.
and get it.
I definitely don't know the well area at all because you can skip it so easily. I've never bothered to learn it. So if I had to go through it legitimately, I wouldn't really know.
I think the very last time I played through it in the 3DS version, I actually had everything I needed and I was incredibly proud of myself. But I don't know if that is because they changed something around to make it less of a pain.
I think they might have actually, but I know for sure that there's only a couple things you actually need to bring in, and everything else you can find in the well. It's just a little more tedious.
Yeah, but it's not everything. That's the most annoying part to me.
You need there's blue potion and beans that are definitely things you need.
Yeah.
But
I'm
all
not
that.
entirely sure if it's exactly a blue potion or if any potion suffices.
It's
I do know that the guide
it's a blue one in
tells
this
you-
one.
Okay.
It's a blue one in this one. I don't know about 3D.
Ah. Maybe that's the difference.
Yeah, but yeah, we finished the well. Sort of, technically. We're done. And
Well done.
I don't remember if it was something I did or not, but I mentioned that in order to use the owl sort, the soaring glitch where you can soar anywhere, you have to put your cursor on a specific point of the map. And in Great Bay, or if you don't put your cursor in anything, if you just soar, the default one is Great Bay. So that was kind of handy.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that. But so this is the reason why you couldn't soar to Ikana Canyon?
Yeah, I needed to unlock Akana Canyon first. It matches
it
to
points
itself.
to itself.
Yeah, so I had to go there first. But now I can go there whenever I want. And actually, Great Bay is the default, but also it's itself. So the statue I just soared to is itself, but also if you don't move it anywhere. I guess they're both index value 0 or whatever.
This shows the true master doing this on the first try.
Yeah, there's a little setup for doing this. I backflip 4 times and then move forward a little bit. In Japanese version, you just have to backflip 4 times. It's slightly different. I don't know why. But I'm doing this to just grind for a bunch of money. And I'm actually going to grind to max money, but we won't watch all of that. But yeah, this little setup does it so I get it pretty easily.
That's good to know because you don't ever have to do it, but in the 3DS version you get an entry and that's important. Sorry.
Yeah, well, while we're doing that, I'm going to show off this glitch here. If you swim against a certain kind of slope in with a specific angle, it pushes you out of the water, but it still thinks you're in the swimming state. So, it's called the flying Zora glitch because look, I'm here, I'm flying around.
That's awesome.
Not actually very useful because you can't move up or anything. I have to keep mashing A to keep swimming forward.
Can you get more easily to the ferry?
You can. It'll help you get to the ferry without hovering or using the hookshot. Yeah, but I have those things. I have the hookshot, so it's not a thing I need to do. But yeah, if you didn't have the hookshot,
I just always think it's a little annoying getting there.
Yeah, you could use it to get to the ferry. Because you get enough height to grab onto one of those ledges.
I didn't know that chest was there.
Yeah, pretty silly chest. It was actually probably slower getting that than just doing the pot game another time, but Now I have max rubies. I will be using basically all of them. That's why I just needed a point to grind. So, and that's one of the faster ways to get money at this point of the game. So
yeah, if you can do it consistently.
Yeah, but again, it's not too hard to get it. All right, so I have the New Wave Bossa Nova, and you play that, and it brings up the turtle in a long cutscene, and he'll eventually take you to the temple. But if I play the song and then pause before the cutscene happens, well, I've mentioned that if you can do that, you can skip cutscenes. It takes 2 frames to activate a cutscene. So if I pause before it starts and then move myself into the loading zone before it can play, then I sort of trigger the cutscene playing, but I don't have to watch it.
That's very useful because it is rather long.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you kept on low health? Because there was a fairy in that pot you didn't break.
No,
right?
I just missed the fairy.
Oh, okay.
There's usually no reason for me to be low health for anything. This time I just
I mean, for some death warps or whatever.
Yeah, but right now it's not useful for anything. I just didn't get health.
Okay.
Alright, so I have this cutscene skipped, and when I come back, the turtle will be up. So we won't have to watch it. And the cutscene for summoning the turtle is actually shorter every time after you watch it the first time. So yeah, I've just the cutscene that plays the first time he rises is really long, and I've triggered it, so I never have to worry about that again.
Yeah, remember that really impressing me back in the day when I first played the game, when I realized that the second time the cutscene was showing, like, they can't do that? That's awesome that they thought of that.
It's nice. And it makes it so that once you skip it the first time, it's not useful to skip it again afterwards, because it's just faster to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But the first time it's like a minute and a half long. Pretty long, so useful for skipping it.
Yeah, I mean, you have 2 frames leeway. That sounds like something a human person could do.
No, actually, I have 1 frame to press pause. For that one. It's just it takes 2 frames for the game to play it. That's why.
I see.
Once the second frame plays, then I don't get it. So I only have 1 frame to press it. That trick is actually kind of tough to get consistently because you have to mash the button really fast.
There goes my hope of ever doing that.
If you can, like, I actually changed the way I hold my controller to mash with a different finger because I can't mash fast enough with my thumb.
So it is a mashing thing and not a pure timing thing.
I mean, you can time it. It'd just be really hard.
Okay.
But so most people I know just mash it.
There would be the fairy.
Yeah, see, this is why I don't always get fairies. They're kind of hard to get. And
this one is annoying because I used to get it so often because of the fucking fish, and it always annoyed me when it flew away or into me. Yeah.
But for me, see, as we see, the turtle's already up, and from here I can just hookshot it. And when you first land on the turtle, there's a cutscene that plays. Another cutscene, unique cutscene of you seeing the Gerudo pirates, or the pirates going to the temple. But you can skip that cutscene too. It's just if you don't do it good enough, it's not fast. It's not really faster. I'll show off how you would do it, but I'm not going to do the whole thing. But basically, if you hookshot the tree in a certain way, you won't actually land in the trigger that'll cause them to move. Huh. So now I'm on top of the turtle, but he's not sending me. And as you see, the platform for the turtle actually goes out pretty far out of his shell. So right now I'm on the turtle, but I'm obviously floating over land, or I'm kind of floating right now. And then what you would do is you would go to where you would trigger the cutscene, and then I'd trigger time stop, and then I would hit the cutscene trigger, and then I would get my way back to the loading zone. But that was actually a pretty bad run, so it was slower than me just watching the cutscene.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we had the side-by-side comparison here.
Yeah. But that's how you do it. You can use time stop to the cutscene doesn't trigger when you're in that time stop mode, but it understands that you hit the trigger. So once you cancel time stop, it'll start the cutscene, but then you navigate your way back to a loading zone. And it cancels it the way.
Is the trigger just a spot on the floor, or rather the turtle's back, next to the pond?
It's between the trees, yeah.
And it's built more or less so that you would always land there when you hookshot, usually. Yeah,
exactly. You just... real quick, with this camera angle, if I tap up and launch a bomb chute, that'll hit the fairy that's underneath this platform.
Oh.
So a nice little quick trick there. You'll see it right now, that one. That fairy's normally in a bubble, but that bomb chute just hit it and popped it.
I just think it's really impressive that people come up with that.
Yeah, I really like doing that. But yeah, on the turtle, normally any part you're supposed to hookshot, it lands you on the trigger, but if you go left enough on that tree, this is why I was taking a little time to aim, you'll fall, but yeah, you won't hit that trigger, so you can sort of walk around on top of the turtle. You're not supposed to. But yeah, now we're in Great Bay.
I really like that temple. I don't know if I'm in a minority, but all the water stuff, I think it's really neat. It's just neat. It can get a little tedious and a little... Well, I don't know how incomprehensible it is because back in the day I played it with a guide, but still, it's so well thought out.
Yeah, I actually do like it. But to make it a little more challenging, I mentioned that I wouldn't be turning Zora except for a couple instances, and here isn't one of them. I need to start navigating through this temple without turning Zora, and what I do is I actually do ocarina dives through the water. So I've mentioned ocarina dives.
I thought you might do that.
Yeah,
I remember them from Ocarina of Time. They were pretty vital there to get out of Kokiri Forest very early, right?
Oh, that would be a Navi dive, but it's sort of similar.
Ah, right.
It's sort of similar. Basically, while you have the ocarina out, the water collision doesn't happen, so he just sinks right through the water. And because of that, I do it in a specific way where I can pull out the ocarina while falling. You're not supposed to. That's not supposed to happen, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, while that happens, there's no water collision, and then I just go low enough and then cancel it and then swim to the area I need to swim to. But yeah, I will be using a Zora in that main room to like navigate me around, and I will be switching the water direction, which is a significant point of this dungeon, right?
Yeah, I was wondering if he could do that because he had to push the levers, for lack of a better word, underwater.
Yeah, and I won't be doing that, no. You can get... I mean, I will be getting everything without switching the water direction, so... hover over this gate. Just so people know, I'm going through this part backwards now. And this is also the part you're supposed to be at, like, after you've turned the water the other direction, too, I think. Jump here, drop a bomb shoe. And what that'll do is, if I look back, there's a section underneath water there. There's a crate down there with a fairy in it.
There's a fairy in there,
The bomb shoe blew up the crate, so...
Yeah, now this is definitely the last part of the temple you go to after you switch the water. Ideally it's the last part and you've done everything before. This is probably the main criticism people have when you don't do everything before and then you have to switch the water around again.
And I'm supposed to also have ice arrows and fire arrows for this section. I don't have either of those things.
Yeah, and switching around them constantly. That's also a little annoying. 3 years is great then. It's really a great improvement.
Yeah, because you could equip both of them. But I don't need any of that.
Yeah.
I use bomb recoils where the bomb blasts me backwards really fast to navigate my way around while everything's still moving. And because I'm going through it backwards, I don't really have to worry about like freezing anything. So I can land on here, or blast myself up to get that fairy, land on here, and then hookshot over here to get the other fairy in this room. And that's the only reason I'm going through most of the temples for the fairies. But from here, it's a little bit annoying to get out. I need to go a lot of distance, and I'm going to use a trick that I haven't shown off yet, but that's pretty useful. If you roll into a bomb on a certain frame and backflip when it's exploding, so I backflip right here while it's exploding, you go get a huge backflip. So I just covered a huge amount of distance right there. And then I use another bomb shoe to hover.
And then your ocarina.
Yeah, I use another bomb shoe to let me hover out of the flip, and then I dive to reach the exit to that room.
I always wonder about the timer underwater because it very rarely comes up unless you more or less deliberately get yourself stuck. I wonder if they did it as a failsafe or if it is just meant to be consistent that you can drown.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it doesn't work the same way as the Ocarina of Time one, at least I think so. So where you get the amount of time based on your hearts. I think, yeah, it's just probably just a just-in-case thing. Because it's like, yeah, you're not really supposed to be in a spot where that timer would ever kill you, because you would have the Zora mask, but, you know.
Exactly. I mean, it's you can get yourself stuck underneath something in the first temple, but you usually will have enough time and room to maneuver yourself out.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a touch meant for realism.
Yeah. Just had to go back to that room for a fairy. Another fairy in this pot. So this room is the room I need to turn into a Zora. The one time I need to do it. But I don't need it for the first trick I'm going to show off. I'm just doing this to show it off because it's funny. If I put a bomb here and then turn Zora, which again I don't need to, I could just hover. But essentially that bomb will give me enough speed when it blasts me off the ledge to grab this ledge up here.
Shouldn't have left the hole there.
Yeah. And again, I didn't need to use this Zora for that, I could just hovered in there. But I thought it'd be funny to show it off. If you use the speed you get from the bomb blasting you, along with the Zora's height, you can do stuff like that. This is what I need the Zora for.
The key?
There's a chest underwater here, and I can't open it as a human, no matter what. I tried. Couldn't do it. It was just for that small key. That's the only small key in the temple, so I had to open that chest.
And there's the timer again.
Yeah. I actually did have to manage that timer a little bit because of the way I'm doing this. Since I don't want to turn into a Zora, I had to make sure I had enough health.
I think we had 24 seconds the first time we saw it, and now it was 20 seconds, so it might actually be based on your current health.
Yeah, no, it is. It definitely is. You get essentially 2 seconds for each quarter heart you have. So I lost like 4 seconds, basically, I think. Well, and then lost another 4 right there.
Good thing you're getting all of these fairies then.
Yeah, and also there's just
all
hearts.
of this.
Yeah, so I don't know if I had to get it, but I made sure to get it just in case. I didn't have to worry about it for this now. Because I have to essentially just wait for Link to sink, to rise to the surface, so... It's obviously faster to put on Zora Mask and swim up, but I'm not doing that.
And you're getting the fairies just for completion's sake, not because you need the double health or anything, right?
Exactly, yeah. I mentioned that part of this is that I want to get all the stuff in the temples, and I need to get all the fairies.
Just wanted to know if there is anything you need to tank, like, and 3 hearts isn't enough.
No, 3 hearts is enough for, like, anything in this game, basically. You just want more just in case. Obviously, if you play perfectly, you don't need hearts or anything.
Yeah.
Even if you start out from the very bottom here and rise to the top, 3 hearts is enough. Which is significant, because I do need to get to the bottom, which is... You know, I sunk again with the Ocarina Dive, and now I'm in the ice arrow room, or, well, the room that leads to the ice arrows.
You're gonna get them?
Yeah. You can do everything in this temple without using them. I will use them once because it's a little faster than just hovering, but you don't need to. But again, it's a sort of completion. I want to get all items, so I have to go and get ice arrows.
You know, I have played this game a bunch, but I would be nervous doing the next mini-boss with just 3 hearts.
I hate this mini-boss, I really do. He is very annoying with 3 hearts. So this boss, I forget what it's called. You're supposed to... It's a big eye surrounded by bubbles. You're supposed to pull off all the bubbles and then pop them, or shoot them with arrows and pop them. Basically, the eye's the weak point, and all the bubbles are surrounding him, and you have to get enough bubbles off to hit his eye, right?
Yep.
Very annoying, and all those bubbles will do like a quarter heart, and because they can fall off and bounce around, it's really annoying. But I have a pretty good strategy for dealing with them. So if I get Infinite Sword Glitch with the Great Fairy Sword and pull it out, the length of the hitbox of the sword is long enough so that I can just stick it through the bubbles and hit his eye.
Ha, that's amazing.
It's really good.
It's also amazing that it even works with the Fairy Sword.
Yeah, and the Fairy Sword does 4 damage for each slash, so each of those slashes is doing, it's a lot of damage too. So after 2 hits, he's already in his next phase, and all the bubbles are now running around being annoying, but as long as I keep moving, I'll never lose my Infinite Sword Glitch. And I just wait for him to run into my sword, and then he's dead.
Biggest problem would be if he closes the eye and then runs into you. But
yeah, it could be an issue.
It's open at the start, right? So
I got a little bit lucky there, yeah. But essentially, for that one, as long as you keep moving with that infinite sword slashing, it works, and it pops basically anything that's hitting you. And as long as you're moving when you get hit, a lot of the times it won't cancel that glitch. It's if you're standing still and get hit, that's when it gets canceled.
Oh, okay.
The animations are just different. But we're done with that. If I wanted to, I could also time throwing bombs into his eyeball, because the bomb blast will also explode through the bubbles.
Jeez.
It's a little bit tougher to do because you have to time that. Now we got ice arrows, and we're done with this part of the dungeon. I need to get back to the main room, so we got to do another Ocarina Dive to get out. So there's only 3 fairies left right now. Should be only 3.
Man, I lost count.
So again, I need to rise back up to the top. There's one fairy that's sort of alone. Is what I'm gonna use the ice arrows for. There's this waterfall in the main room here, right? You'll see it in a little bit. But at least you're a room with one fairy.
Yeah, there's this one big room with where you have to pull yourself up to the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's also a little annoying. I know I'm complaining a lot, but actually I love this game.
Yeah. No, I mean, I do like this temple, actually. Mostly because of the glitches, though. Yeah, this waterfall here, I could just hover up the wall there, but I'm actually kind of... I have to manage my explosives a little bit, so I don't want to do that here. So I just freeze it. But you don't have to. This is the one time I use ice arrows in this temple, but you don't have to use them.
I mean, Hava's a child's play, we know by now how they work.
But the fairy in this room is pretty easy to get. If you just hookshot and then slash, you can get up here without having to...
Huh. Oh, that's a nice one.
Yeah. Normally you're supposed to go through this room anyways, because you have to turn cranks to get the water or go the other direction, right?
Yep. It's the source of the green one, right?
Yeah.
And the yellow one, but the yellow is pre-turned.
Right. But, like I said, we're not going to bother with any of that. I haven't hit any of the switches. But the problem is, the last two fairies are in the last room of the dungeon, which you can usually only access when the water's turning the other way.
Yep.
But again, I have a trick to deal with that. So if I go up against this part of the wall and hover up, there's actually like a no ceiling right here. So I can actually get out of bounds. And if I get a little bit lower, down here, turn around, which takes me a little bit because I had to get a good angle. But if I turn around, hover backwards a little bit, I have a visual cue for this, but I hover back until I see water again, right here. And what I'm going to do is put on the blast mask, Ocarina dive, and that'll put me all the way down to like a tunnel in the last part of for the last room. Explode my mask while I pass this bubble so I can hit it.
Damn.
And now I freed the fairy, and I'm in the last room of the dungeon.
That's a very good one. Especially the timing on the last fairy, that must have been a bitch to get right.
It was annoying, that's for sure, because again, you're supposed to hit that with the Zora, but I don't want to use it, so that was what I came up with.
It's even annoying with the Zora.
Yeah.
It's nothing worse than missing that one and having to go the entire loop again.
If you do miss it, you can use the Zora boomerangs to hit it.
Yeah, I think that's still a little clunky. Or maybe I'm just bad at video games.
Well, I did get it though. I did get it, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. I got all the fairies. And we're in the last room of the dungeon. And from here, because I got the boss key, obviously I could just walk right in.
But you're not gonna do that.
I will walk in just to show it, but no, I will not be fighting the boss here, no. Sorry if anyone wanted to see that. I keep boss blocking you guys, but we will be fighting him later.
I'm gonna watch with great interest because I fucking hate this fish asshole.
It'll be a while before I get to him, but I will say that I will not be turning Zora at all while I fight him.
Yeah, it's more or less pointless anyway, except for, you know, actually damaging him. Details.
Yeah, I know. You have to be in the water to hurt him. It actually works that way.
Do you know that this is that part where playing with a guide, when I was like 10, you know, hurt me the most because the guide said, yeah, you should totally fight that guy as a Sora. Just turn into a Sora, go into the water and tussle. It's the worst idea you could ever have, fighting guy. Or
yeah, no, that's a pretty bad idea.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad boss.
But right now, one thing left to do is I'm going to go buy bomb shoes again, because I ran out, but that's boring. So I will show off how you would potentially fight Gyorg. But this, I won't show it off everything. If you do that trick I showed where you do the camera, shove it underneath the floor with a bow, you can actually shoot Gyorg from here to stun him.
Oh my god, this is amazing.
I hit him a few times, but then I actually hit him like to stun him. When you do that, he's stunned, and when you go down here, it doesn't trigger the cutscene that happens when you first fight him.
Okay.
So it's a little faster. Like, you know that introduction cutscene where it's Gyorg, evil fish, or whatever. I just skipped that. And that means that the boss music isn't playing. So this is how you would fight him typically. You shoot him, turn to Zora, and then you could just swim up and down against him.
Yeah.
And you would just do that to cheese him. But we're not going to see the whole thing. Again, that's not an official fight or anything. We'll fight him later. But for now, that is the end of the episode. The next episode, we'll take on Snowhead, and I'll actually finish that temple. So
Cool. Also admitted you totally cut out the part where you got eaten immediately after the cutscene.
totally
Because
did.
it always
I
happens.
totally did. Yeah, that's it, everyone. Goodbye. Hope you enjoyed.
Goodbye.